And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day, even when I have a colonoscopy done. How you guys doing? I hope you all are doing well. Today was colonoscopy day. I did a live on YouTube. I'm going to start using my YouTube channel a lot more in doing my lives. I know I'm always on Instagram, but you know what? I think I want to start spending more time on with my YouTube community because you are with me you're with me to the end. It takes a lot to get subscribers on YouTube. Instagrammers, they just come and go. TikTokers, they just come and go quickly. But on YouTube, you have to take some time to like and subscribe and then join and support. So I'm going to spend more time on my YouTube lives, there are YouTube lives. So I need to do them more often. How are you guys doing? It's been a long day. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Had to get up 4 o'clock, get myself together, get the shower in. TMI, had to use the bathroom after being on the colonoscopy potion. Got that all solved, and I got there. I ordered my Uber. And then sometimes the Ubers play games. Like, for instance, like some Uber drivers, they say, I don't want to go into New York City. So this Uber guy thought, he was on his way. And then he stopped a minute away and stopped and did nothing. Then after 30 minutes, decided to show up. And I said, I had already gone. I had got a lift. That's why it's so good for, what's the word? Diversification. You need more than just one car service. You need 2 or 3. And so I called Lyft. It was cheaper. The woman was on time and she was sweet. She was nice. And I was glad that and then the guy had the nerve to say, and then after you realize I wasn't, because they get in trouble when they cancel. The whole game for them is, if I just wait here long enough, then the client will cancel. And I was like, I am calling another car service and I'm going to let this linger. Then 35 minutes later, I'm outside. I'm on my way. I'm outside. I'm pulling up. I'm arriving. And I said, excuse me, sir. 30 minutes ago, I reached out to you and say, what's taking you so long? When I could see you, I said, maybe you don't know that we could see where you are on the Uber app. You were on your way, you stopped and just stopped. He goes, no. I just got this message about 6 minutes ago. I said, I got the receipts. It was like, no. I know you were just hanging out, waiting for me to cancel because you probably didn't want to drive into New York City. But guess what? I'm not canceling. So and what's bad about it, they can't get their next job until they cancel or you cancel. And I was like, I'm already at my destination because a wonderful young lady picked me up through Lyft. Anyway, I always got to tell you my stories of what's going on in my world. How are you all doing? And let's see here. I like this. Marty McFly. Welcome, Marty. So good to see you. Welcome to our community. He says, the ancient Stoic said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That sounds, I never heard this quote before. I've never heard this quote before. Thank you, Marty. I like this. The ancient Stoics. I like that. What becomes the impediment or the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Isn't that the truth? Think about all of the discoveries. All of the discoveries became discoveries because there was an impediment or impediment to action. They couldn't pick the cotton fast enough, so then we got the cotton gin. They couldn't navigate traffic, so we got the traffic light. They couldn't deal with all the people getting more clothes, so they created a washing machine, right? It is our struggles that gives us the oomph to invent. That's the beauty of humanity. Humans, yeah, there's some bad ones out there, but overall, we are we're an interesting we're an interesting creation. Hey, let me just go through my hellos anyway. Let me go through my hellos as I always do. In for the gold, coming back with her gold's title is our Hannah Boyd Miller. She says, "Good, happy morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family." Got the gold. She's back in her gold seat. And then for the silver is Renee or Rini. Good morning, she says. And Kelly A says, with the bronze this morning, good morning, everyone. You're Superman from a hospital gown to a fly fit. Yes, I did go live in my gown this morning after my colonoscopy procedure. And as we are, I do believe, wait, is February colon awareness month, or is it March? Either way, you know what I'm going to keep saying. Sometimes I believe we go through things so that we can be the alarmist or the caution sign or wave the flag of you need to do it. If you haven't gotten your colonoscopy and you are 40 and older, get your colonoscopy. That way you know you're in good health, because no one has to die from colon cancer, because colon cancer could be caught early. So let's get our colons checked. Okay, so I got mine checked this morning. 1 year cancer free. 1 year ago this week, I was preparing for my surgery, which was coming up February 17th. So it's almost been a year since I had my colonoscopy / then surgery. So I'm gonna be the alarmist, because I am living proof. I had second stage cancer and did not know it. Right? Because my cancer was in a weird spot. It wasn't in the normal spot. It was outside of the colon. That's why they couldn't find it earlier. But this doctor said, wait, something's not right here. Let's examine this a little closer. And then there I go. I was free from cancer. Okay, who else is in the building? And obviously we saw Marty's in the building. Marty's in the building. Kimmy Kim is in the building. Kimmy is in the building. She says, hey, Ron. And Bree, or should I say Bree says, hey, welcome. And if this is your first time, make sure you hit the likes. Also, everyone hit the likes. And if this is your first time, make sure you hit subscribe. We've been gaining a follower every day. which is great in this YouTube streets. Okay, so thank you for attending. Thank you for being a part of the community. We welcome you here. Yes, Hannah said to Marty, "I like it too." That's a good quote, right? And look who else is in the building. Our wonderful scholar, Dr. Tachi, is in the building. The professor has arrived, y'all. The professor is here. Good day, all. And I see someone says, "Cool stream, man." Oh, what's up, guess? Guess I am just Jack. What's up, Jack? Welcome to our community here. Welcome to our community. And if it's your first time, we are a bunch of geeks over here. We're political geeks, we're photography geeks, we're artist geeks, we're creative geeks. We're the geeks. This is the place where brain power is celebrated. Dr. Taji says, bonjour, bonjour. And I'm saying it like my app because, I've been learning French. And now I'm on week 51. I'm on day 151 of learning my French. So now I've learned the regular words, and then I learned my nouns now, and then I learned my pretenses. And so I think I'm on pretense now. So I'm on pretenses now. And yeah, so there you have it. Always, you're never too old to learn. Just because, and I said this new journey I'm on. Can you believe I'll be leaving for Portugal in 2 weeks? 2 weeks, y'all. Less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, I'll be on the plane, starting the journey as the drum roll, please. Do we have the drum roll? Oh, wait a minute. I haven't used my sound effects in a long time. Is there a drum roll? How about, wait, drum roll. There we go. I'm in rare form today. I'm alive. So yes, drum roll, please. I am going to be living my full life as a nomadic photographer, traveling around the globe and bringing different places to you. And I hope that you will join in and spend time with me as I go. Hannah's laughing at me. Hannah, I crack you up, don't I? And Dr. Tachi says, "Why does that drum roll sound like Cuban bongos?" It did, right? I was like, not the right drum roll I was looking for. Oh my goodness, this I love this. I love this. So here we are. Hannah says, "Ron, again, I am not able to see the others you are talking to." So you know what? If you are on, but you look like you're on landscape, aren't you on landscape? No, you're on. Oh, you're on vertical. I think. Yep, you're on. I think you're on vertical. So if you come over to the landscape, there are two platforms going on at the same time. Vertical for all the short lovers, landscape for all of the rest of us that hang out in YouTube world. Okay, so some things are not shown in vertical all the time. But let me make sure I put this on the board. There you go. So now you can see it no matter where you are, but you'll see it inside the window pane here. Also, for those that are not here, for those that don't know, Tuesdays is what's called our Tip Tuesday. So today, what we're going to do is do something different for our Tip Tuesday. We are going to have, because I'm always talking to you about different subjects like, winter photography, leading lines, how to take pictures for Black History Month. That's what we did last week. So today I said, you know what? I didn't really want to put a lesson together because I didn't know if I was going to be with you. So because of being at the getting my colonoscopy today. So I said, why not take advantage of today and do a Q&A? So today we're going to do photography Q&A on this Tip and Tuesday. And what that means is I want you to think about questions that you have regarding photography, especially your smartphones, because most of us are photographers because of this. Now, some of y'all are photographers because you have real cameras. And not that this is not a real camera, but you know what I mean. Big cameras, the DSLRs, the mirrorless, the film cameras. But most of us use this. Pretty much all of us use this in conjunction with the other cameras. Okay, so today is Q&A. So if you have any questions about photography, you can ask me those questions. So you'll put into the comment box. You can put anytime during this time together. QA question. QA question. Okay? QA question. You don't have to put the and, just put QA question. Okay? And then we'll address photography questions today. And yes, horizontal or landscape, vertical. Okay. Okay, that's pertaining to what we got going on here. Okay, moving right along. I always get interesting people that pop in, but most of the time, people cannot comment unless they subscribe. So you have to be a subscriber to participate in the comment box. Kimmy Kim says, "What really does exposure mean?" Ooh, gonna put a star on that. I'm putting a star on that. I'm gonna when we start our Q&A lessons. Okay, I put a star on it. So that's one in the box for Q&A session. Okay, any other Q&A questions? Make sure you put QA and then put it in the star. I'm going to put it in the starred section as you put it in the comments. Also, if you happen to be viewing this and you're not looking at this live, because most people see this when they're coming home from work, or they're hanging out with the kids, or they're on the weekend and they are connecting with our platform. You can also do Q&A, but you have to do it in our community chat. And if you put your questions in our community chat, I will give you answers. Okay, so we're going to be using our community a lot. That's where we're going to spend a lot more time as a community in our community. Okay. Oh, no, Kimmy, that wasn't no sorry. No sorry, Kimmy. That was good. That's a great question. What really does exposure mean? So we'll look it up, we'll explain it, and we're going to talk about it. I like that. Look at you. Did you see that, Hannah? Dr. Tachi says, "I came to the vertical stream to greet you." We are family. Jack says, "How's your day?" Like I said, this morning, if you did not, this morning I did a video from my colonoscopy after bed. So I had a colonoscopy done this morning. I was at the hospital-ish place where they do colonoscopies. And so I got 4:00 this morning, got myself together, got in the Uber, sorry, not Uber, a Lyft, got in the Lyft, rode down to the city, Midtown, and went to the doctor's office, had my colonoscopy done this morning, and it was beautiful. They found one polyp, but that's okay. They say, "Oh, that's normal." I was like, but they'll do the test on it as they do all polyps. And so crossing my fingers that everything is great. So that way I can get on the road because I will be bringing the world to you starting in 2 weeks. So the first stop back to my travels, I am going to be heading the first stop is Portugal. And in Portugal, I will be hanging out in Lisbon and Porto. Porto is in the north and Lisbon is in the south. And I've never been to Portugal. So I want to know who these people were that were the first to enslave us. No, just, well, I just want to know who they were. So I want to know who their history. Slavery began because of the Portuguese. And I mean slavery, the slavery that we know of the continent of Africa. So just so you know, the Portuguese were the first to do it. And when you go to Ghana, there is a slave castle called Elmina in the town of Elmina, and it's called the Elmina Slave Castle. But the Portuguese really revved it up. They were able, don't have the exact numbers, but they were able to extract, I do believe, 1/3 of the African population to Brazil. That's kind of insane to think about it. But the Portuguese at one time had one of the greatest navies in the world. They had naval skills that were really top notch of that era. Unfortunately, they used it for some bad things. So, and they also did some good things. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot of good things about the Portuguese. So I'm on my way to Portugal. And then after Portugal, I will land into the wonderful country of France, which I've been learning my French. And I will get to spend a week speaking French. So I'm excited about that. And I will be celebrating one of my friends. She is getting married on the 17th. And I am meeting she and her new husband in Paris. So we'll be in Paris on I can't give you my dates, but I will be there because there's so many people listening. I don't want to have all my dates and all my business on the streets. But I'll be in Paris. And then after Paris, I will be in Ghana. So, and then I'll be back at Elmina, Slave Castle, and I will be photographing Elmina, and I also be because last time I was in Ghana, I photographed the British slave castle on what they call Cape Coast. This time, and I did photograph a little bit of Elmina, but this time I'm going to really photograph Elmina. And so I cannot wait to get to Elmina. I am going to be spending some time with some of my friends in Ghana. And I'll be staying with them on their compound. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then after that is Namibia. So I will be live, or in most cases, unless I am on assignment on some, I'm in the field. But either way, if I'm in the field, I still will make sure I touch base with you every day, even if I'm in the field. And if I can find some Wi-Fi, I will go live, even if it's just for a brief 30 minutes. So I will be doing that while I am away in these wonderful world global streets. And also, but when I'm on safari in Namibia, then that will be a little difficult because there's no Wi-Fi in the desert. So when I'm in the desert, I'll be able to do Wi-Fi. I'll be doing Wi-Fi if there's a hotel somewhere after we hang out in the desert. Then I will come to you live after that. So, because we will miss you. No, you ain't gonna miss me. I'll be right here. I want to try to be on here as daily. Still, this show is called Touch Base Daily, right? I'm gonna try to be here every day, and I'm gonna try to be here in this time zone. So when I'm in Namibia, I'll be later in the afternoon. When I'm in Paris, it'll be later in the afternoon. When I'm in Portugal, it'll be later in the afternoon for me. But I'll be on here every day, 11 a.m. You are my family. You help make this possible. Many of you are in the Patreon community. Many of you help make this stuff happen. So I couldn't do this without you. And also, I want to be able to play games with you. I want to be able to say, okay, I'm going out into the field today and I'm going to pick up two things. And then I want to have like some games with you all and then send you some stuff back from these places. So maybe I would have to have you do shipping if you win. So, if you win these prizes, you will have to pay for shipping unless the Patreon community begins to become more engaged. Or like we have that little dollar or that little dollar bill at the bottom of these comment screens. If anyone wants to support, you can do it that way too. So you don't have to join Patreon to support. You can support right here in YouTube. Okay, I see some comments going back. Jack is talking. Jack is speaking. Now have a good day. She said all night, leave stream now. She had to leave. Okay, they had to leave. Jack had to leave. La 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 la. Wow, they let us know. Woo, they let us know that they were leaving. Wow, that came through a lot. Thank you, though. Those comments do add up. Yeah, those comments do add up in the comment box. So again, if you're in the building, make sure you hit the likes, make sure you hit the subscribe. And yeah, so who's in this building? We got the we are connected to our LinkedIn folks, and we are connected to our YouTube channel. Okay. Any topics you guys want to talk about? First of all, I know we try to keep this on a positive note, but I'm just trying to figure out Bill and Hillary. See, I would not have yielded to this Congress, this no good Congress, or the panel of these people on this Epstein stuff. First of all, why is it that Bill and Hillary are being asked to come before this panel? Why? When the president of the United States of America is mentioned several times over, several fold times over. Why isn't he being put in front of the questioning board? Or why isn't former Prince Andrew not being put before the board? Why isn't all of those people names that are on in the government, that are on in the administration with the Cankles, why aren't they being brought before the board? You have to wait a minute. Bill Clinton and Hillary. Now, do you really think when Bill was there with Hillary that he was doing something shisty? It's possible, but maybe not. Most likely not. We know that Bill has had a checkered past. We all know that. But why Bill Clinton? Why are they picking on Bill Clinton when the man in the office behind the presidential desk is mentioned all through the report? And like everyone keeps saying, all of this stuff that's going on, the rouge is because they don't want to address the Epstein files. And first of all, we can't even believe half the stuff that comes out of this administration. or this judicial system under this administration because they are what they call scrubbing the records. When this is all over, 20 years from now, we're gonna a lot of this is a lot of stuff is going to be revealed. Right now, they're scrubbing everything. Can you believe these people? Just saying, that was in the news. And poor Nicki. Mm-mm-mm. Poor Nicki Minaj. Well, before I go on to Nicki, let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, Kimmy says that will be interesting. Bill and Hillary. What? Like, what is? I'm curious. Oh, I mean, come on, Bill and Hillary? Really? Like, but you know what? I didn't get a chance to see it. I gotta see it today because I try to go to bed early so I can be up for my colonoscopy. I mean, that didn't really work, but I didn't get to see Don Lemon on Jimmy Kimmel last night. So I'm going to see that as soon as I get off this with you guys because I have not seen it. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow in our Let's Talk Wednesday. But I saw just one clip, one little clip, and I was like, "Ooh, Don is on the money." First of all, I love Don, and I had last year. I had the great opportunity. One, I am a Lemon Nation member, as they call a Lemon Nation subscriber. But I also had last year the opportunity to photograph Don Lemon and his team. And what a great honor to connect with him in person and meet him in person. And then he and I did a live on Don Lemon show, like a quick clip. And that was really cool. So, yes, I am a big fan of Don. And the dumb cankles didn't realize, or I should say the attorney general and her stupidity, they thought they were being mean or making an example of Don Lemon, but they don't realize they made him more famous than he ever was. Now people are talking about Don Lemon around the globe. The BBC, Haystack, Sky News, Al Jazeera, all of the news platforms, even the American platforms that didn't want to deal with this subject. Because they gotta listen, they gotta answer to the corporate heads that don't really care about Americans or the people of America. They're just interested in dollars. Even they had to stop and say, wait a minute, because the journalists had to say, this is not just an assault on Don Lemon and Georgia Fort and the other two people. This is an onslaught. This is an insult to all journalism. Journalists, the fourth branch of government. Did you learn that in school? Did you learn that in high school? I did. I learned that in high school. High school, we learned that journalists are the fourth branch of government. And I'm not sure if it was Henry Patrick, I think it is. The one that says, give me liberty and give me death. But I think he also said, someone look it up. He also said, I would rather have the media, have the journalists. If it was a choice between government and journalists, I will choose the journalists. That is how important journalism is. And I love how people are understanding that all of us, we may not be, Dr. Tachi mentioned this. That's why I heard it this week. or last week. We who are in these streets online, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, question mark. We are the people. We are all journalists. Just like now, most of us are photographers. It used to be a select few were photographers, photojournalists. But now everybody is a photojournalist. You may not be a professional. You may not have gone to school for it. But nonetheless, you are a photojournalist. You are a street journalist. Our technology has given the common folks like ourselves, maybe a little bit above a common, power. You have power. We all have power. Technology gives us power. Our collective abilities give us power. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. We, the people, not I, not them, not that person, not the billionaires, not that one person sitting on the side, not one president, not one prime minister. No, is we the people. You have power, y'all. We have power. And I don't care how much they want to jimmy up or Jim Crow the elections coming up in the fall. Or there's many M-I-N-I elections going on throughout the year. I don't care how many times they want to gum it all up. If all of us come out and vote, we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. If every single person votes, if every single person gets in these streets, if every single person does their part, we are unstoppable. Okay. I got on my soapbox this morning. I am on my soapbox. I see Mr. Bryson's in the building. He says now Sherry Shepherd talk show got canceled and the Kelly Clarkson show got canceled. And sources said that Jennifer Hudson show will be next to be canceled. Well, I did some reading about this. I think it was September, October. Talk shows are going the way of the dodo bird. People are not looking at talk shows like they used to. However, Sherry did have good ratings. The Sherry Shepherd show was doing good. It was doing better every year. However, the industry, long gone are the Ricky Lake days, Oprah, Wendy Williams. All the greats of the talk show hosts are gone. Not that these people are not great, but they're okay. They're good. But we grew up in an era, most of us baby boomers and the people and Gen X. We are the ones that grew up with talk shows. But most of us have moved on to YouTube. Now everybody can talk. Everyone can talk. And it is no longer what they call a good business model. I read that. I do believe I read that in September. I think it was September, or it was September or October. It could have been recently. I think it was September, October, but it was reiterated when Jerry Springer, not Jerry Springer, what's his name? the legend, what's his Povich, I forgot his name, Povich, something Povich. I think I forgot Povich's first name. Well, he's coming out with a documentary. I think came out last week or it's coming out, and maybe it's because I know it's in circulation. This documentary about the talk shows, and so they did a story on this. That talk shows are not like the talk shows of the past. I mean, do you remember the talk shows of the past? The Phil Donahues that had the KKK on the stage with the black people and the arguments and the fight and the contention. Remember when talk shows were talk shows? None of this stuff today where you can't say what you need to say, or you can say what you can't say what you want to say. Right? So the climate has changed. Back in the day when you were on Oprah, when you were on Phil Donahue, when you were on Ricky Lake, those folks, you could say whatever you want. Y'all remember those shows? Do y'all remember those shows? Oh, yes. Yeah, right. Right. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm gonna have to go. Omar says, hey, oh, sorry, I'm late. You're late, student. You're late. Yeah, Hannah says, yes, I do. Remember? Do y'all remember? Maury, right? What is it's Maury? Thank you. Maury. The show, there's a documentary coming out. If this hasn't come out already. Maury has the documentary is quite interesting. I saw clips from it 2 weeks ago. It is interesting. And he lays out all of the pros and cons of talk shows that we all grew up with and how much work went into it. Some of these guys like Maury would not sleep. They didn't get rest because they were trying to, they said it wasn't like today where you can just go online and find people to come on your show. No, they had to research, look for the telephone number of the person, find where they're at, what state they lived in, what's their telephone number. And then the producers had to call and reach out. Then they had to screen them. Then they had to do all of that. And if it was a breaking story, they had to do it in 24 hours. It's quite fascinating. The talk shows. You all chimed in with Maury. Thank you all. I don't get to see everything on time. Duh, for me. But yeah. Jazzy's in the building. She says, good morning, beautiful people. The beautiful people. The beautiful people. Remember that song? Anyway. Hannah says, okay, Bryson, thanks. But why is Jennifer being canceled? Do they have people lined up for replacement yet? No, they are not replacing these talk shows. They're gone. They're going. They're saying goodbye to talk shows. They're saying goodbye to them. Ooh. Jazzy says, I miss the good talk shows. And Bryson says in response, source says that Jennifer Hudson's show will be next. And the reason why, if this is the case, is that people are upset that Sherry and Kelly are being canceled, and they feel like Sherry's show is better than Jennifer's show. And they're saying, why is Jennifer still out there when Sherry has a better quality show? However, they're on different networks and they serve different audiences. Come on, y'all. Kimmy says, it will be interesting to see what they replace these talk shows with. I mean, what else during daytime? I'm curious too, Kimmy Kim. There's not much to see in the daytime. They remember when they started to reduce soap operas? Remember when soap operas were getting canceled? Because people weren't looking at soap operas as much? And Jesse says that I was about the people. Now top shows are all about celebrity culture and influence. Nobody cares about that. What made those talk shows good in the past was they had real people with real situations. Real situations. The talk shows, man, I remember when I was in high school, the talk shows. We were like, did you see that? Did you see that woman? And who could forget Jerry Springer? Now, I'm not going to confess that I was a Jerry Springer viewer at any moment of my life, but it was quite interesting and entertaining when I did pierce in with my little eyeballs as a young person. Jerry Springer, who remembers the first throw of the chair? G says, good day, y'all. Good day. Bryson says, Dirty Talk is on Disney Plus right now. There it is. That's what's called Dirty Talk by Maury. Yes, Dirty Talk. I got to look it up. I got to look at the series. But I did see them interview Maury 2 weeks ago. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be a fascinating series. She says, I'm late, fighting the sinuses. Oh, my dear, my dear, my dear. G says, I miss the soap operas. Remember, well, I don't know if you're of an age, a particular age, when all my Channel 7 ruled soap operas. I mean, first you had, what was it? You had, what was on before All My Children? It was All My Children, and then after All My Children, it was like All My Children started at 1:00, then 2:00 was another one, and then 3:00 was General Hospital. Can't remember what was on the first before All My Children and what was after All My Children. All my geeks out there, all the geeks, could y'all tell me what was before the hour before All My Children and the hour after? And then we looked at General Hospital. Who could remember Luke and Laura? Who could remember all of the things of All My Children with Nina? Oh, man. One life to live. One life to live. That was after All My Children, correct? One life to Ryan's Hope was before. Yes, Ryan's Hope. You guys got me excited in this space. This was my shows. These were my shows. Oh, Jazzy says, remember Montel Williams. Do y'all know that Montel Williams had one of the highest ratings of all of the talk shows? Most people think it was just Oprah. Montel Williams was neck and neck with Oprah. Who knew? Interesting. I learned that fact last year. Matter of fact, I learned that fact last year. You said, Ron, what are you looking at? I look at a lot of data shows that give me information that I could never use in real life. Bryson says, definitely, Gwendolyn, General Hospital is giving the tea. Yes, G says, the best thing about attending FIT was being close to all the talk show studios. I attended Montel Williams and Queen Latifah's show. I've been to only one talk show. No, I've been to two. I was at Good Morning America. Not Good Morning America, sorry. It was Regis and Kelly, I think back then. And then I was also at Ricky Lake. I went to Ricky Lake. I was one of the people in the audience for Ricky Lake because we couldn't wait. We were in college. We're like, yeah, we got to go see Ricky Lake. Yeah. Ryan's Hope, though. I remember Ryan's Hope. But AMC, All My Children was it. Who could beat Erica Kane? right? And Jenny, what was it? Jenny and what? Jenny and was it Jenny and Craig? What was it? Who was it? Who was the we had teenage love stories that were our stories, right? All My Children was the first soap opera to include a whole young cast of college students. And we were in it. We were in high school, we were in it. We were in it. I remember and I went to all boys school basically. And this dude used to come in. I don't know if you guys remember the big beatbox or boot box or boom box, we want to call it. We all call it the boom box, where they got real creative. And then they had a generation, I think um it was was it JVCs? I think was it J they had a TV in the middle of the boombox. So you had a speaker, television, cassette player below that. Do y'all remember that? Come on. You have to be of a certain age to know this information. Just right, Kimmy. All my favorite soaps were on ABC. Now, we would be in school because we went to school during the soap opera time. But lunchtime was around 1 o'clock. So what did we do? That dude, I don't even know his name. I don't even know his name. But he used to set up that boom box inside the lunchroom. This is an aviation high school. I remember it like it was yesterday. And we used to get our chairs and sit around and watch All My Children. All My Children was one of the biggest breakthroughs of, they were young like us. Remember was it Leroy? Am I saying it? Is Leroy? Come on. Come on. Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless, and As the World Turns. That was the other station. Yep, I remember Montel. Here's Dr. Todd. Listen, I detested soap operas. I just remember they were on, but not in what order necessarily. I wanted the babysitter to let us watch cartoons. Dr. Tachi. Jenny says, my grandma did not play about her shows, and neither did my babysitter. You better not touch that remote. Yes, Mimi says, one life to live after All My Children, and one other I can't remember. And Hannah says, Jenny says to Hannah, that man would cry every single episode. I loved it. Yeah. Am I taking y'all down some memory lane? I love when we do this in our community. Y'all got me, you got me spinned today. Dr. Ty says, yes, I remember when I was an intern at WBLK in Buffalo. Montel came and we did a joint show with the local ABC affiliated. Look at that. Dr. Tachi. Kelly, it says, thanks to Big Mama, I know them all. What was after General Hospital? The News or the Flintstones? After General Hospital, it was Batman. It was the Flintstones. I remember it was Batman, because All My Children came on at 3 o'clock. It was off at 4. And at 4 o'clock was Batman for we dudes that like Batman. We turned the channel to channel 11 for Batman. Dr. Ty says, yes, I remember when I was okay, got that one. Kelly says, I am Big Mama. I loved her stories. Ricky Lake says, says Gwendolyn, Ricky Lake Studio was right behind FIT. I did not know that. Look at that. Look, Michael B. Jordan was on AMC. That's right. He was on All My Children. Oh, man, those were the good old days. Now, okay, y'all going down. Mimi is taking us now. She's getting ready to pull us into another subject, but I gotta teach a lesson. Well, it's not a lesson today. Again, if you just joined us, we're doing Q&A for a little bit. So it's almost 12 o'clock. So let's do if you have any Q&As about photography, put them inside the chat. Just put QA and the question. But we're having some fun right now. Mimi says, I went to the Arsenio Hall show in 1990. Remember Arsenio Hall with that long finger? And I'll leave it at that. People used to laugh about Arsenio Hall's long finger. Remember? Kim says, Susan Lucci, Erica was on Kelly's show today promoting a book. Yes, she is. That's right. She is on. She's on a book tour. Jason says, One Life to Live was on ABC and SoapNet. Well, no, I knew nothing about SoapNet. And guess Dr. Tachi with cigarettes. Kelly. Oh, you guys are killing me today. You guys are killing me. I'm loving this, though. I'm loving this. Kimmy Kim says, yes, 100% Arsenio was so good. Maybe we'll pick up this tomorrow with our favorite. Arsenio was the night show. Was he the first Black person to get their own show in the evening on UPN, the Underpaid Negroes? I mean, was he on that platform? I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's what we used to call it when we were when we were in college. We would call UPN the Underpaid Negro station. Because UPN had some great shows. We had so many Black programs on UPN. It was a great platform. Anyway, Jesse, not Leroy, Jesse. Yes, Jesse. Whoa. I have stories about Jesse. Anyway, Dr. Tashi says the blessed. I'm sorry. That didn't come out right. Mimi says we modeled our graduation class day after the Arsenio Hall show. I wrote the script. One of my friends was named Ishmael. So he became the host. Ishmael. Oh. Oh, God gracious. Dr. Tachi, you're killing me. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Classic is in the building. She says blessings and good day. And Jelly says, this is really bringing me joy back down memory lane. We need this. You know, what we've been going through over these last couple of weeks, we need these moments of joy. We need these moments of joy. I am so glad that we have a platform we can do it on. And I see all the laughter. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Gee, she says, what they do that for? You guys got me cracking up. Yes, y'all remember that. Yes, you do. You remember UPN. No, Ron. Says kid. Oh, God. Omar says, remember when... Yes. Remember when Magic Johnson tried it? He tried it at a show. Wait, where's Jazzy's question? Hold on. Did I miss Jazzy's question? Oh, where's Jazzy's question? Oh, where is Jazzy's question? This is really bringing me down. Okay, I missed Jazzy. I missed your question. Oh, wait, hold on. You'll have a sensible lunchtime while I did. Oh, Y'all had a sensible lunchtime. Why did they send us to lunch at 10:50 in the morning? I'll be so hungry by 2. We had a good lunchtime. I mean, well, we had 3 lunch periods. We had the I think we had the 11 to 12, 12 to 1, and 1 to 2. Yes. The reason why we had a 1 to 2 is because Aviation High School back in the day had what we call extended hour classes. So our school day went from 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. That's why, because we were studying to be aerospace engineers. So we stayed in school long, and we had double majors in the same. So we took double shot classes. So that's why we had long hours, and that's why we had a late lunch. Okay. Thank you. You're thinking, Jesse. Okay, got that. Okay, got that, got that. This is really bringing me, got that, got that. Got all the laughters. Okay, UPN. No, Ron. Remember when Magic got that? Great question, Jazzy. Got that now. Ironically, Jazzy says, UPN, what was the first network to get? UPN was the first network to give me a full-time job offer. Really? But then they transitioned to the CW. I remember when the CW, that was like, well, if UPN was about the black people, what was CW about? Anyway, I'm moving right along. Yeah. Gwendolyn says, it's crazy how I can tell you an entire TV lineup of soaps and game shows, but I can't remember what I went into a kitchen for. Isn't that crazy? We were into our soap operas. We were into our TV shows when we were growing up. Wow. Jazzy. Yeah, Gwendolyn says to Jazzy, Jazzy, the mind and memories are something extraordinary. Yeah, Dr. Taji, that was a long school day. Yeah, but we did graduate with our Regents diplomas, and we did graduate with our what we call AMP licenses from the FAA to build aircraft, which that's what I have. Well, from high school, I have my FAA license to build aircraft. That was something that adults used to only get, but we got them in aviation high school. Loved aviation high school. We had a great time there. 3 periods and study halls. Yep, we had them. Yep. Okay. So we had one question. We had one question when it came to this is our Tip Tuesday, believe it or not, for photography. Even though we went down this road of wonderful TV shows. I don't even know how we got there, y'all. I don't know how we got into this subject, but I feel like I was on a vacation. This moment today made me feel so. I mean, I haven't laughed so hard in a couple of weeks. This was good laughter. It was good for the soul. Good memories, right? Good memories. Television. Good memories. Okay, so we did have one question, and that was from Kimmy Kim for our Touch Base Tip Tuesday. She goes, "What really does exposure mean?" Now I'm going to take you to that really quick. I'm going to give you the definition real quick. Exposure, photographer, exposure, and then we're going to break it down. Exposure in photography, and this is going to help us. Okay, so now I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible without getting too detailed. But this is from our wonderful folks at Photography Life, AI free since 2008. And why is exposure in photography a beginner's guide? And it goes into it. But you could let's go quickly here. Let's start here. Hey, this photo looks like my photo from Iceland. Okay, so Let me pop this on the screen real quick, and then we'll end with that question. Unless someone else has another question for Q&A, I'm okay for going over time a little bit today. I'm okay because we had such a great time. Let me share the screen. Okay. So this is from the folks, and we'll give them credit. Photography Life, which is a great platform that has lots of good questions about photography. And it says, what is exposure in photography? A beginner's guide. Now you see this is a long explanation, but it does have to do the brightness of the photo. How image brightness changes with shutter speed. But it is a breakdown between 3 different areas in our photography: aperture, speed, ISO, this triangle that we photographers use. But let's go in. It says, in photography, let's go here. Let's go right here. And we'll get this in. In photography, but exposure is the amount of light that reaches your camera sensor or film. It is a crucial part of how bright or dark your pictures appear. Now, like I was just talking about, there are only 2 camera settings that affect how much light you capture apart from your flash, if you use a flash: shutter speed, aperture, and the third setting is your ISO. Doesn't technically change how much light you capture, but it still affects the brightness of your photos. It is equally important to understand also, you can brighten or darken a photo by editing it in software on your computer, or by changing the amount of light in the scene in front of you. Okay, so that's kind of like the summary there. And it can go into I can go into create a whole class on this. But as you see, for speed here, they use an example here with the photo. 1/25th second in shutter speed is darker, right? That means it's faster. 1/25th faster. 1/13th, that's almost half. That's a little bit half than the 125. It gets a little lighter. The speed is now at 1/6 of a second shutter speed, and you see how it gets a little lighter, a little more lighter. Then half of that, 1/3 of a second shutter speed, and it gets bright. So you can really change with your speed and your aperture, right? Speed and aperture. Now, if you have your smartphones, which most of us have our smartphones. Thank you for the folks. Let me just acknowledge who these folks are. I'll put the link on there so you can support this platform. It's called Photography Life, AI free. Okay, so we'll put that in the link. So we'll do that. But those are the areas that control your exposure. And on your smartphone, if you put your smartphone in manual mode or pro mode in your smartphone, you can control your aperture and you can control your speed. And in most smartphones, the ISO will change automatically. Okay? Kimmy Kim, does that help? Did you get it? Is that a good answer for you? Gwendolyn, you know how we feel about our typos, right? And I see Dr. Tully with most things being esteemed or okay, got that. Now I'm wondering what memories are. Okay, good. And I think we got it all. Okay, cool. No more questions. Okay. Kimmy says, the edit features on the smartphone have so many features to change the effect of your pictures, with exposure being one. Thanks so much. Yes. Oh, so in camera, you change the exposure by aperture and speed, right? On these sides of the triangle. On the bottom is the ISO, which is not technically a change, but it is. You change your ISO. It doesn't change how the light actually hits the sensor. But anyway, um, but the direct correlation of light is with your aperture and your speed. But a lot of this also, if you take a pretty good photo in camera, we like to say, we photographers, we like to get it all in camera. So we do very little editing. But the beauty of our phones is that when you take a picture with your phone, most of us can just take our phones out and just make sure the lens is clean and click. But then you can go back into your editing programs like Lightroom. And the one I recommend to you all the time because it's free and it's so good for it being free is Snapseed, Snapseed, Snapseed. Because Snapseed, you can go in and change your exposure and make it a little more dark if you want to get a little more mood into it. Give it a little more light exposure. Add some more light to it if you want another to kind of tell your story. But you can adjust your exposure in editing to be able to tell your story the way you want to tell your story. Okay? Sometimes you want harsh lines. You want harsh shadows and light. Well, you might want to bring down your exposure in one area because you can manipulate your photos. That one area gets a little more darkness into it, when it gets a little light. Okay, and you can also play with shadows, and that also helps with your light and dark in your exposure. In most of our cameras, you can change the shadow setting, which will happen automatically. It does it with the computer inside the camera, and you can get more light by reducing your shadows. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that helps. She's okay. You got that right. She says, "Thanks so much." And Classic says, what is a good number for a in between if you need both and have to go back and forth? That depends on how you photograph the photo. That depends on how you photograph the photo. Because if your settings are one way in your camera, then your edit is going to require some other settings. Either way, if it's dark or too light or dark. So yeah, so that will be determined on how dark or light the in-camera photo is. And then when you edit out of camera, which is what we call you know, post editing, then you will be able to adjust that way. Okay, there we go. Did we get it all? Did we get it all in? Okay, let's go to some banner stuff and we're gonna get out of here. Let's go. One is join the computer. Make sure to continue these conversations. Like this will be a good conversation, talk shows and soap operas in the YouTube community. Come on, y'all. Y'all can join and hang in there. So in the YouTube, we have a YouTube community here at the Touch Base Daily, Ron Lewis Photos. Photography, text postings, conversation, engagements. Just go there and have continue the conversation, continue the chat. Also, we have join our email list. Just go to Ron Lewis Photos and click on the newsletter link, and you'll be able to do that and sign up. Okay, let me get this off the screen for you. Hold on a second. Pop that off so that we can see it nice and clear. There we go. And also, for those that are looking for an event photographer, I am an event photographer. So when I'm here in New York, in the area, I love photographing events. And so if you need an event photographer and you want to save and preserve those memories, I'm up for hire. Also, again, thank you to our Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. If you are not a Patreon member, become one. if you are a Patreon member and you're in the free, become one that pays, put money into it to help support the community. I think we give you a lot for the community. And last but not least, hit the like if you're in the building. Always hit the likes. And if you're new to this platform, if you've never seen us before and you want to connect with us, hit subscribe. And I think we got it all. I think we got it all, y'all. I think we have it all. Okay, those are good questions. And so we had a small Q&A, but we got a lot of great conversation in today. Thank you guys for indulging me in these conversations. Class says, guess I better start practicing editing more. Thank you. Well, again, like I said, photographers, we like to say we want to get it right in camera, so we have to edit less. Okay, so try to play with your camera more, so that way you know how to get better pictures in camera, so you don't have to edit as much in post. Okay? Yes, Dr. Omar says, get it right in camera first. That's the key. That is the key. Okay, I think we got it all squared away. Y'all. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow is our Let's Talk. The panel will be here tomorrow. Our panel of great conversationalists will be here tomorrow. And then we'll talk about politics and everything else. Okay? Mimi says, great convo. Okay, it's time to get something to eat. It's time to look at Don Lemon and Jimmy Kimmel from last night. And it's time to get all this stuff ready for Dr. Tachi. If you don't know, the reruns of this show is on Indie Soup Media. And that is head and founded by our wonderful Dr. Tachi. So you can see the repeat of this not live, but in repeat on the Indie Soup platform. Okay, guys. See you guys later. Love ya. Have a wonderful day.